Campus Police.
Hi there.
Hi, we have a gentleman around 25 to 30 in our lobby, a black male, who won't give his name or state his business, and he's kind of loitering.
An emergency call in the long hallways of higher learning.
He's ratting out profs and other students.
Not quite what you'd expect to hear.
And he said, you calm down. So I'm a little leery to go out there by myself.
That's the president's administrative secretary at the University of Windsor.
I don't want to have a confrontation with him because that's what he's at now.
All right, we'll have officers come by right away.
And this is the intruder, the black male mentioned on that call.
My name is Jordan Afolabi. I'm a Nigerian-Canadian student attending the University of Windsor. I'm in my first year of law school.
It was the summer of 2019. Jordan wanted an update on his internal human rights complaint. Instead, he was surrounded by campus police.
It was very frightening. I was actually marched out down here and escorted along this pathway all the way until the bench there where I was detained. It was there that I pleaded my case to them. I told them I hadn't done any of the things that they said I'd done. And I also played the recording for them, and they were extremely confused when they heard it.
Jordan had the entire exchange recorded on his phone. He avoided arrest, but was slapped with a trespassing violation. Did it dawn on you at that point that this could be because of anti-Black racism?
Oh, certainly, yes. I was pretty certain that anti-Black racism was a factor. It shocked me that a police officer at the university would hear a white woman say, there's a student here who's filed a complaint and he's ratting out profs and other students. Right off the bat, like, if you're an administrative member, you shouldn't be speaking disparagingly of a student's complaint in any light.
Jordan's ordeal began here, after an altercation with a white student.
Right at these doors, I was on my way to a human resources class. I was approaching from this direction. The gentleman we're speaking of was approaching from here. He was trying to get in here very quickly while I was still opening this door. And as I opened, the door hit him squarely on the shoulder here. Just in the corner there is where I went. And the student approached me aggressively asking why I hit him with the door. And the gentleman assaulted me in this lobby here. At that point, I defended myself.
Even though he's a trained boxer and MMA fighter, Jordan says he was afraid of the other student's aggressiveness and size.
I just kept trying to tell him, like, walk away, like, stop.
The other student filed a complaint with the university. A formal investigation launched. But Jordan was the only one banned from campus. Hoping to plead his case, he asked for a meeting with the Academic Integrity and Student Conduct Officer.
Okay, so around 11:15?
Yes.
Is that okay?
But she quickly sent an email saying it was inappropriate for Jordan to come to her office. Jordan didn't see the message, and this is what happened when he showed up.
Hi, I'm very uncomfortable that you are here right now, so please leave.
This is really rude. You told me to come here on the phone.
I sent you an email after 5 minutes telling you not.
I did not check my email, okay? I didn't receive it until I got here.
Of course, you have your phone all the time with you.
You're treating me like a dangerous black man, and it's ridiculous. Yeah, you are prejudiced.
All right.
You are absolutely prejudiced. You're absolutely prejudiced.
I tell you to follow directions, and the person.
I have your direction on the phone. Okay.
The student he was in a fight with filed a report to Windsor Police, claiming Jordan had beaten him unconscious.
I turned myself in and I spent the night in a jail cell. Like, I'm sitting in there, it's a urine-soaked jail cell, it stinks, it's freezing cold, and I'm that much farther away from law school. Sitting in that jail cell just hit me like a brick, right? Like I was crestfallen.
Then, witnesses started to come forward. They said Jordan was acting in self-defense. His criminal charges dropped. And an independent adjudicator concluded Jordan's treatment by the university may be the product of subconscious racial profiling and stereotyping. He received a private apology from the university. At the height of the racial reckoning last summer, ripping the mask off anti-Black racism.
When the George Floyds and Breonna Taylors of the world happened, all the other cases came up. People are like, actually, it's not just this. This has happened. This has happened. This has happened.
Kien Azinwe is a student activist in Toronto.
Even in our university, like people are like, yeah, I remember when this teacher called me the N-word. It just kept on coming and coming. It was overwhelming.
In fact, Windsor students felt overwhelmed when this professor used the N-word in class. She later apologized.
Is explicit racist language in this book. Words such as and numerous racist.
And in Ottawa, a student sit-in, protesting dozens of faculty members who defended the use of that word, citing academic freedom. There's also the racism students say they deal with online, with explicit threats like these circulating.
People are like, let's hang this person. Let's shoot them. Let's kill them.
Azinwe says universities are not doing enough to stop it.
The blatant fact, the truth, is that racialized, indigenous, Black students on this campuses that we pay to attend are not safe. Until people saw those messages, nobody believed it. Like, people need to see it to believe that Black trauma is a thing, that anti-Black racism is a thing. And that's the only way we can prove the really messed up things that are happening to us as a community.
I'll be direct. We have not done enough in universities and colleges to advance equity, diversity, inclusion.
Professor Melinda Smith is the first ever Vice Provost of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion at the University of Calgary.
Here's the crux of the problem. If there's a denial about racism each and every time, and if there are no policies and practices to say, here's what racism is, here are the consequences, most universities don't have that kind of a mechanism. We have it for other forms of discrimination, but not racism.
Given the current climate, more than 50 post-secondary institutions decided to hold a forum on anti-Black racism.
Racism permeates every aspect of our society to this day.
Azinwe and a coalition of supporters countered with a nationwide strike.
To be able to say, we as students, Black, Indigenous, racialized students, this is not okay.
People are saying, enough already. We don't want just statements anymore. We want action, and we want change.
Carol Sutherland participated in that strike. In 2004, she was hired as an ambassador in the registrar's office at Ryerson.
I started seeing the same pattern. Why it is it's only Black and racialized people getting all this problem within Ryerson. So I started to speak out. Black workers are scared.
What are they scared of?
The majority of them are beaten by systemic racism. They're so beaten up, they're afraid to come out.
Carol became the problem solver for many racialized colleagues and students. Her work was celebrated on campus. She won several prestigious awards. But behind the scenes, she says systemic racism was very real, and she felt like a target. She recalls this incident with a manager.
I came in a Friday to work, and I had on a jeans. And my jeans had a rip.
What did he tell you about the way you dressed?
He said to me that my clothes, my jeans, is not appropriate, and going to my office and lock the door and cancel every meeting that I have for the rest of the day. I was so shocked, I started to cry. What led me to my stress was when I talk, he would say, shut up. I don't want to, don't talk to me.
He would say shut up to you?
Yeah.
She says the stress broke her down. She started having panic attacks. Then in 2019, while on sick leave, Ryerson fired her. In their termination letter, they say she abused her sick leave and misused the complaint process.
They want to get rid of us. And Carl was like...
That's when the I Stand With Carol campaign began. Then Ryerson released its review on anti-Black racism in the summer of 2020.
More direct action is needed to advance equity and to address anti-Black racism.
We asked Ryerson about Carol's allegations. In an email to the Fifth Estate, the university said they can't provide any further information due to confidentiality, but told us eliminating anti-Black racism on campus is a goal they aspire to. Still, Carol says she's tallied some 48 Black and racialized employees who are no longer working at Ryerson.
What happened to the Black voices that left the university? What happened to the racialized people that left the university?
We have less experience in university with hiring diverse people than we actually think we do. And that's why there's resistance and why people feel pushed out, because the environment is not conducive to their thriving, to their well-being, to human flourishing.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
When we return, Canada's third largest university takes aim at a Black professor with 5 degrees. It's a midsummer day, and York University professor M.A. Avalanto is immersed in the things he loves: gardening, spending time with family, and celebrating his native land. We meet him on Benin's Independence Day.
This is the historical capital where the king is from.
M.A. has 5 degrees and speaks 8 languages. He was hired in 2004 at Glendon College, the only Black faculty member in the Department of French Studies, elected twice as chair, both times a near unanimous vote.
I try at least my best to live my life, to be the most ethical, the most caring, the most social justice fighter.
M.A. believes that social justice fight got him into trouble.
Mom, help me, Mom!
In 2017, this video made the rounds. A Shoppers Drug Mart security guard tackled and injured a Black student on York campus.
Oh God, man, please help me.
M.A. didn't hold back during a meeting with colleagues.
I stood up and I monopolized purposely the talk for 18 minutes where I explained what that means to be Black, what experiencing racism means in our flesh.
He says he was experiencing systemic racism on the job, recounting one example several years ago when a Black female assistant professor was hired in his department. M.A. was one of 5 members on the hiring committee. It was a majority vote. Yet, he says many of his colleagues complained of bias in the hiring process. What was being said about why she was hired?
No, because she's Black and I am Black. For them, she got hired because I pushed for the I influenced the hiring committee to hire her. I have 32 complaints against me of mishandling the hiring committee.
M.A. Avalanto felt unfairly maligned. He said the committee agreed the Black candidate was best suited for this faculty position here at Glendon College, and he appealed to senior members of York administration to set the record straight. But he says his concerns were not addressed. We asked York repeatedly for an on-camera interview. They declined.
That was 15 years I was in that faculty. I never got accused of such a thing.
MA says the allegations started piling on, one after the other.
I got accused of using, in a dirty way, a water fountain.
What did they say you did?
That I misuse. That I wash my cup at the water fountain, and it's because I'm dirty.
But what really rocked him to the core? The vice principal of Glendon told him a group of his students had filed a litany of complaints. Their names are all redacted. They said he called himself a god of the course. They felt intimidated by him, and that he joked about Africans, Muslims, and gay people. While MA's department investigated these claims,
for 4 years at Glendon, I had the honor of being Professor Avalonto's student.
Other students wrote a letter of support for their professor. They also sent us these positive reviews.
Professor Avalonto was very direct, but he was very kind. He was a great professor.
He was always available if you needed something.
He referred to us as his children, and many of us called him Papa Avalonto.
I absolutely would have recommended his courses to any student.
A small comfort for MA. He went on stress leave. When he returned, there were some new allegations, severe enough that MA says he was forced to relinquish his role as chair. By that time, York had retained an independent investigator. And we learned that a harassment complaint previously dismissed by the university somehow resurfaced. MA says he was in the depths of despair.
You see, I tried. And that was not the first time.
Tried to take your own life?
I tried to.
My heart just really goes out to him.
Sandy Hudson dealt with a number of grievances from racialized employees as a former CUPE staff member at York.
Consistently, they would want to deny the experience of Black people bringing forward their experiences of anti-Black racism. And if these complaints come up, how can we make them go away? And if we can't make them go away, how can we discredit the person who is bringing forward these claims?
In a statement, York told us the investigator concluded all the allegations against MA were founded, and that MA's racism claims were unfounded, vexatious, and made falsely as reprisal for prior allegations of harassment. MA says York is now taking steps to fire him. Student activist Kian Azinwe stands by MA, giving him a platform to share his story.
Instead of investigating my complaint, they turned the investigation on me, depicting me as a threat to the whole community.
People are standing with you. You are not feeling this pain alone. We walk with you, and again, like this is a space of... You see somebody that you see every day with so much authority, but the system still gets to them.
And Azinwe put York's president on the spot.
Is that we know that Black professors are treated like absolute garbage by your administration.
You're judging something that I don't even think you know all the facts about.
But what are the solutions?
We need to go to the very foundation and start from there. You can't keep on repainting the walls and sealing it, and the foundation is rotten.
Should that fall on, say, the provinces, though, to sanction universities if they fail to address racism?
Some provinces are actually undermining anti-racism efforts. They're defunding anti-racism portfolios, if they have them at all. We need to see federal, provincial, municipal governments, all of them, along with institutions, modeling the change that they want to see in the world.
Meantime, M.A., Jordan, and Carol continue their journey for justice. Their cases are now before the Ontario Human Rights Tribunal.
Stand up for what you believe in. We have to make a better place. We have to have room at the table.
The message that is being sent is clear. Look what we can do to people who dare speak out.
I started seeing, like, in real time, what anti-Black racism can do. It could be the difference between me being a lawyer and me being a criminal.